The Pennsylvania Association of Realtors recently did a study where they asked realtors which home renovations they thought brought the highest return on investment. Well, I'm going to share some of those today, as well as compare and contrast a little bit about what I think are the best renovations that would bring the highest return on investment in the higher end. So this goes across price points, is starting with the one we always hear about, kitchens. This is really the biggest impact, and small wins can come about with some nice new fixtures, lighting, hardware, repaint cabinets. This is very appealing to buyers when they walk in a home and they see an updated kitchen, even if it's not a complete renovation. Along with that are bathrooms. This has been a consistent ROI for decades, and this can be refreshing with paint, mirrors, lighting, textiles, updating worn finishes. There's nothing new. I'm not telling you anything new or anything that you haven't heard before when I talk about kitchens and bathrooms. Now, here's one that you might not think about quite as often, and that's garage doors. Garage doors can really add to curb appeal when they are new and they're fresh and they're not banged up because your teenage daughter ran into the side of the door. Who am I talking about? But it's a really good thing to put some money into and make them look fresh and new. And they're really, they're of course there are some that can be very expensive, but it can be a really a, a value driven decision to replace the garage doors. Anything that has to do with curb appeal is really important. For instance, exterior paint touch ups, front door refresh. I mean, even putting a new coat of paint on a door really can make a home pop. Shutters, sometimes when you see shutters, they're either all faded or they're the wrong color. Like they should never have been painted that color in the first place. Just by changing those simple things out, it can really make a difference on in how your home is perceived. Landscaping. I can't talk about landscaping enough. First of all, just a simple cleanup can make a world of difference. Huge bang for the buck. And then if you need some trees taken out, if they're dead and they've been dead for a while, guess what? If you know it, probably everybody else knows it. So they should probably come out. We are constantly going to appointments where we'll say, hey, we've got a tree guy. Why don't we connect you? And, something that people are hoping no one will notice. Guess what? They're going to notice. So that's really important. When you are getting ready to sell your home, you want to focus on first impressions. That is like everything, even from a realtor's perspective, where, it comes up on the multiple listing service and you see it. And if it's ugly from the outside, a lot of people will just keep clicking by. So you really want it to have curb appeal. In terms of the interiors of homes, avoid over customization. If you're going to live in a home for the next 10 years, do whatever you want. If you're thinking of selling in the next couple of years, most likely you want to neutralize. That's really important. Now, here is the one I hear all the time is when people will, especially in the high end, they'll have a nice kitchen, but a kitchen that hasn't been updated in 20 years, or maybe it's only 10 years old, but it really could have been better. So a lot of times people will say to me, well, I hate to put money into it. I hate to renovate it. But, somebody down the street, they bought a home and they came in, they had redone the kitchen and the next buyer came in and ripped it out. Well, I understand, but really, if that's enough to get somebody in the door because it looks fresh and new, the perception is that if you've stayed on top of things like that and made it look fresh and nice, that you probably have applied that same thought process to other things in your home, like mechanicals or exterior, or just everything to kind of keep that home in good shape. So, your objective as a seller is to take away a buyer's objections. What someone does after a purchase is really up to the buyer. So here's another one, light fixtures and fans. Light fixtures and fans are so easy and inexpensive to update. Kitchen, bath, pulls, and hardware. Another thing, super inexpensive to update, and they really can, change the feel of a room without a lot of expense or hard work. Here comes another one, professionally painting a home. I was at an open house today, and when I went in, it was very nice, and they had a lot of beautiful finishes and different things that they had done. But clearly, they had decided to DIY some of the rooms and borders and edging. So there were spots where it was different paint color, just like off a little bit, or it wasn't right to the edge. Hire a professional painter. It's one thing if it's in a more modest price point and you're not expecting top dollar for a home, but if it's a high-end home, the expectation is that it's done well. So there's my take on things that you should really focus on when to get the best return on investment. Most importantly, though, it's curb appeal, right? And make sure your home is just the best choice when people are out looking for homes. So if you have any comments on that, if you have any of your own ideas, I'd love to hear them. Thanks so much and have a great day.